Good day, everyone. This is Jennifer Santa Ana, your teacher for today in Science for Daily Use. Parts and functions of the sense organs. This time, we were going to tackle about the parts and functions of the sense organs. So I'm going to share to you the parts and functions of the eyes, ears, tongue, nose, and skin. So kids, just keep on listening and watched on this video for you to have and get new information or knowledge about what is it all about. Okay, let's start in 3, 2, 1.
The eyes.
The eyes open your doors to the outside world. How do your eyes enable you to see? So, this is the model of the eye. The eye has different parts. These are the area of pupil, the lens, the retina, the cornea, and the optic nerve. Look at the model of the eye. Locate the cornea. The cornea is the thin membrane of the eyeball. It covers the iris and the pupil. Locate the iris. The iris is the colored part of eye. The dark circle in the iris is the pupil. The pupil is the tiny opening through which light enters the eye. It controls the amount of light that enters the eye. The muscles of the iris control the size of the pupil. Locate the lens. Light passes through the pupil to the lens. The lens directs the light to the retina. The retina is the inner lining at the back of the eyeball. It receives the image formed by the lens and directs it to the optic nerve. The optic nerve carries the information about the image to the brain, and the brain tells you what you see. The next part of the sense organs is the ears. The ears are your sense organs of hearing. You hear sounds coming from many sources and from different directions. The ear is divided into 3 compartments: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The part of the ear you see is the outer ear. It is made up of a cartilage and skin. It has 2 parts, the auricle and the auditory canal. The auricle is the part of the outer ear that protrudes from the side of the head. It gathers sounds from vibrating objects. It looks like a funnel. The sound enters the ear through the auricle. It goes into another part of the outer ear called the auditory canal. It is a narrow tube that starts at the inner side of the outer ear. The auditory canal carries the sound into the eardrum. The middle ear is a small compartment or chamber carved out of the skull bone. In this chamber, there are 3 small bones: the hammer, anvil, and the stirrup. Together they are called the ossicles. They form a connecting link between the eardrum and the inner ear. The eardrum is located at the end of the auditory canal. When the sound strikes the eardrum starts to vibrate. The vibrating eardrum strikes the 3 bones, which is the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. These bones are very tiny. They begin to vibrate too. The outer and middle ears transmit sound to the inner ear. It is the inner ear where you can find the basic organ of hearing. This is located in a spiral chamber called the cochlea. The cochlea is a tube coiled like a snail. It is made up of tiny tubes filled with liquid. When sound enters the cochlea, the liquid in the cochlea begins to vibrate. Then, The sound goes to the auditory nerve. The auditory nerve goes to a certain part of the brain, and then the brain lets you know what you are hearing. Third part of the sense organs is the tongue. The organs of taste are found in the tongue. The receptors for taste are the taste buds. The taste buds are made up of bundles of nerve cells which open on the surface of the tongue. They have tiny hairs at these openings. The other end of the nerve cell are connected to nerve fibers leading to the brain. There are four types of tastes: sweet, sour, bitter, and the last one is the salty. The taste bud sensations are not the same in every tongue surface. The front part of the tongue is sensitive to sweet and salty substances. And then, bitter substances are tasted at the back of the tongue and near the throat. Sour substances also are tasted on the sides of the tongue. So the model shows where the taste buds are located. So the taste buds have taste nerves. The taste nerves carry the taste message from your tongue to a certain part of your brain. The brain tells you if the food you eat tastes sweet, sour, salty, or bitter. So it is important for you to know that substances cannot be tasted unless they are dissolved in the mouth. You will taste if a substance is sweet or not when it starts to dissolve. The fourth part of the sense organs is the nose. The nose has two openings called the nostrils. The air enters the nostrils and passes through a path called the nasal cavity. So tiny hairs called cilia are found at the surface of the nasal cavity. These hairs filter the air by blocking dust particles from entering the nose. The nasal cavity is covered with mucous membranes. The mucous membranes moisten the air and make it warm. So when an odor enters your nose, it passes through the nasal passages. The nasal passages are lined up with many nerve cells. They pick up the information about the odor. They send the message to the brain through the olfactory nerve. The brain interprets the message and the brain in turn tells you what the odor is. The last part and functions of the sense organs is the skin. Your whole body is covered with skin, right? So, it is the largest organ in the body. The skin has two main layers. The outer layer is called the epidermis, and the inner layer is the dermis. It contains oil glands, sweat glands, nerve endings, small blood vessels, and cells. So the epidermis is the part that you see and touch. It is composed of dead cells. It also protects your whole body. So the tiny openings on the skin are the skin pores. The dermis is the layer of the skin directly under the epidermis. It is much thicker than the epidermis, and it is composed of the blood vessels, nerve endings, fatty tissues or oil glands, hair roots, and the sweat glands rather. When you touch something, the sensation is picked up by the nerve endings. The nerve endings carry the sensation messages to the brain, and the brain tells you what the feeling is.